All right, thank you. We're now going to move to the agenda. Hopefully that's showing up on my screen. All right, first off is the approval of the agenda. This is by far the longest agenda that we have had in my memory. So this will take a minute, but here is the bulk of the agenda. And then for the consent agenda, you see that we need to go to pages 2 and 3 of the agenda to see all the motions that were conducted in between meetings. So if we can just look at this part of the agenda first, and then I'll scroll down to the other portion once I'm more certain that there isn't any amendment to be made here. Directors, I did send this out to you before the meeting, and this is an addition this is the only change to this main portion of the agenda since then.
I got a couple questions, Timothy.
Yes.
On number 10, do we need to update that?
That would
And I think
probably not be a great day for our next meeting.
Yeah, I think we'll also need to adjust the date in the header or the top also.
Ooh, I thought I had done that, but now that I'm thinking about it, I probably did it for somewhere else. All right, in July, the second Wednesday is the 13th. I know where I changed it. I changed it in the title of the Google Doc. Thank you, Kenny. Are there any other additions to the main business of the agenda before I scroll down so everyone can see the consent agenda?
The second Wednesday in July is the 14th.
14th?
Yeah. Oh, no, never mind. Nope,
okay.
Never mind. I'm on the wrong calendar. Never mind. Ignore me.
It's like, where are calendars? Oh no.
I have one of these school district calendars, so I didn't realize I had hit the end of it. It didn't have a divider, so I went back to July 2021.
All right, well.
Timothy, in the event that Katie doesn't join us, if we have an affiliate question, would that be something we table until she's in attendance, or something we can discuss?
No, we can discuss it under there. Anything that needs to be dealt with under the affiliate can be dealt with even if Katie's not present. You know, ideally she's present and is helping to guide such things, but it will be in order then.
Thanks.
Anything else? Going once? Going twice?
I move we approve this agenda.
Right. I would prefer that we looked at the whole agenda first, just because I like.
I thought that's what the going once was for. Please proceed. Sorry, Mr. Chair.
It was for making sure that this part was ready. Now we need to scroll down to pages 2 and 3 to look at the consent agenda, to look at the business that was conducted between meetings. All right, so the first motion that was made is that I moved and Kenny seconded to amend the delegation policy. This motion failed because it did not receive enough votes. And if any of the directors would like to record a vote at this time, we can do so before adopting the agenda. But otherwise, we will just leave it.
I think it's moot.
It is moot, so there's no particular reason to or not to. I just want to make sure everyone has the option. All right. The basic reason for this failing was that there was a misunderstanding about whether or not this language was supposed to be replaced. And so, yes, for anyone who was wondering. All right, the second motion that we conducted between meetings was that I moved and Kyle seconded to rank the currently seated alternates in the following order. And we have 6 aye votes, no nay votes. If anyone would like to record a vote, I'll give it a moment. Anyone who has not already voted, I mean. All right. The third motion was that moved and seconded to amend the 2022 National Convention Delegation Policy in the way that appears here. And we again have 6 votes in favor, none against. And if any of the directors want to update this, but it did pass and was implemented. Okay, and then the last motion was Timothy moved and Taylor seconded to exclude the Libertarian Voters Guide from the 2022 primary election ballot mailing and fully refund Kim Thatcher's timely paid statement submitted thereto in the amount of $100. It received 5 votes, which was sufficient to pass because this was not an expenditure of over $500, adjusted for inflation from the time of adoption of our bylaws. And if anyone would like to record a vote on that, otherwise we will move to approval of the agenda. All right, Peter, that motion would be in order now.
Move we approve the agenda.
Peter moved. I didn't catch who seconded.
Is Will.
Will. All right. Peter moved, Will second. Is there any objection? Hearing none. All right. So now we've approved the agenda. Approval of minutes. We do not have minutes available. Taylor's also not at the meeting, so I can ask him what's up. We will move along. Consent agenda. We did just go over the consent agenda. Do any of the directors want to look at that again and make sure everything's accurate? I mean, I just copy pasted from the email threads so that we were all party to. So hearing none, open forum. Observers may speak on any agenda item. So I do want to mention that there are a couple of things here that we, without objection, will hear from some observers on, particularly under the affiliate report. I believe that some Multnomah County folks want to pipe up, but whatever's on our observers' minds. Thank you for coming. I just recalled, because I'm looking at this, that we have observers, and what I need to do is make sure that Taylor knows who that is for the minutes. So I'm just going to read everyone off for the recording. So we have Timothy Perkins. I'm just going to read it in order that we appear in the participants list. Timothy Perkins, Mary Collins, Kenny Cernak, Kyle Markley, Marion Skinner, Pablo Serrato, Peter Vandenberg, Leon Noble, Rachel Salo, Tim Sipple, Tom. Tom, would you mind unmuting and telling me how to say your last name? Boos? Say?
It's Bussy.
Bussy. All right. Tom Bussy, Will Hobson, and William Johnson Jr. All right. And again, if I'll renew my call to the observers if you'd like to speak to any of the items on this agenda. Going once.
I'm sorry, that is different from like presenting what we want to talk about under.
Yes,
Katie.
yes. I will ask if there's anything to be reported with regards to affiliates when we reach this point in the agenda where Katie would normally step in. And because I know that there are observers wanting to speak, I'll ask for observer input. Okay. In that case, we'll move along to reports of officers. I go first because I'm first on the agenda. We had a very busy month between the meetings. We had a convention. We have a primary election that is ongoing. We have had a lot of activity on our Discord server, which has been really great to engage in. I've been running around doing various things for my committees, and a lot of engagement with membership, lots of engagement with the new LNC region that we are now a part of. We are, in relation to that, I should mention that we have indeed been numbered as Region 1 again. So our region number hasn't changed, but the agreement allowed for adding other state affiliates after the initial agreement had been signed. And so the two that came on were Kansas and Nebraska. So we have Washington, Oregon, Nevada, Arizona, Colorado, Nebraska, and Kansas as the members of Region 1. These states are all very energetic, looking forward to working together in a way beyond merely just banding together for LNC representation, but to try and coordinate efforts to do things a little more locally. And I'm excited to see what that's going to look like. Related to that, I have already informed Will of this, but I intend to delegate to Will as vice chair, kind of to be the point on working on these projects with Region 1, quite frankly, because he's always full of ideas, and I think that he'll mesh well with the other people that are a part of it. Taxation is theft. Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself, and I am open to any questions. All right, hearing that, we'll move to the vice chair's report. Will.
Yeah, we had a national convention. This was the second one I've been to. It was, from what I can tell, very well attended. We had well over 1,000 people there. We had lots of events. We had many speakers. We had very intense bouts of voting that went for hours. The vice chair election at the National Convention Arena was particularly long fought, and I'm very pleased with the people that were elected. I'm very proud of our delegation. They put up with a lot and sat through quite a long and grueling couple days. We also got to have some fun. It was a good time. I'll definitely remember it. Got to see Ron Paul in person, in the flesh. That was probably one of my highlights of the trip. Yeah, a lot of us did get sick after the fact, I will report. I did test positive for COVID, and I am now on the mend from that. So if I have been a little quiet since Reno, it was only because I was hit pretty bad by a fever after getting home and had to take some time to rest and recuperate, and then help my family recuperate, who also got sick, unfortunately. But now that is all kind of past, I can get back to my duties as vice chair and try to I would looking forward to manning some booths at some state fairs and getting some affiliates formed and getting our election underway, and any candidates that need support supported, and yeah. And I'll take any questions if anyone has any. All right.
Yeah, one question, Will. You just mentioned booths and state fairs. There's one that I participated in the past called Juneteenth. That I don't know if it's too late at this point. Is that one that you might be interested in?
I'm not familiar with where this fair is, I guess.
It's I think it's Lentz Park, sort of towards downtown east side.
In
Lentz
Portland,
Park?
are you talking about Portland?
Portland,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay. And he's asking you where in Oregon it's happening.
Sorry, where in Portland?
Yeah, you said, but did you say Lentz Park?
I think that's the name. I could have it wrong.
Oh,
Been a
okay.
while.
I assume that's in Lentz, right? I guess so. Yeah, yeah. I'm not opposed to going to any particular events. If anyone has any state fairs or other events that we could potentially have a presence at, as the public relations chair, I would like to start getting us out there and maybe raise some money in the process while we're out there, hopefully. So yeah, if you got events that we can go to and have a presence, let me know, and I'll try to see if I can make time to do that, or if we can find volunteers that can make time to do that.
So at this point, you're not actively organizing anything, nothing specific planned?
I do know that I would like to go to the Douglas County Fair. So, and Aiden in Douglas County has said that he would like us to be there, and I would like to help him have an LP presence there in Douglas County. So I know that's coming up, but I don't have too many others after that.
Okay, thanks.
We're working on the details for me to go to that too.
So say that again.
We're working on the same details so that I can go to that too.
Oh, good, great, yeah. Let's have the whole fam there, the whole Libertarian family.
Hey, Will, are you opposed to Deschutes County?
No, I'm not opposed to going to Deschutes either.
Okay. I think that would be really great for the people out here to have a libertarian booth or a voice in this area.
Sure, yeah. Send me an email to will.hobson@lp.org. Or sorry, excuse me, not LP.
LP Oregon.
LPOregon.org. So will.hobson@lporegon.org. And I will try to get a presence at some of these events.
Rachel and any other directors, remember, you can also email the whole board of any events upcoming.
Okay. And I might be able to help out. You know, I'm getting a little bit further along and bigger with my pregnancy, but I'd be down to maybe help out.
Here, I'll drop my email in the chat.
I missed that you were pregnant, Rachel, so congratulations.
Oh, yes. Congratulations, Rachel.
Thank
Sorry.
you.
All right. That was the vice chair's report. Thank you, Will. We'll move along now to treasurer, Kenny.
Mine's going to be quick and dirty because I'm behind and I've got transactions to file. So I can't tell you too much about what's happened. I did write an initial reimbursement check to Kyle, so that's good. But we've still got a lot of money to raise to finish paying for the primary. So any and all fundraising ideas would be good. I did see in my email, it looks like, I'm assuming because primary ballots have been hitting mailboxes, but I've seen an uptick in donations. So I'm hoping that continues.
I know that there were at least one offer for matching funds related to primary expenses. Has all of that come in, or is that still outstanding?
I don't know that we've had the matching funds donated yet, but we have reached the threshold that was required.
Okay.
I will inquire about getting the matching, the $1,000 from the Mises Caucus, I assume is the question. I will ask my contact about that tonight. So he actually just texted me, so it's perfect time to bring it up.
I'll have a little more for that under the fundraising report.
Anybody have any questions for me that I may or may not be able to answer?
Can you estimate our cash balance?
Give me a minute.
About tree fitty.
I'd say probably 700 to 800.
Okay.
I have one last question. Has the check been cut for Kim Thatcher or Kim Thatcher's campaign, whoever we need to reimburse?
Not yet. I will do that tonight.
Okay, I'll let her know that it's coming. All right, the secretary is not present. And the only thing that could be added here is that minutes are also not present. All right, reports of committees and directors, campaigns. I'm gonna double check. I don't think I saw LJ in the meeting. Okay, nope. Last I talked with LJ, I was encouraging him to get familiar with 4-star so that he can be an asset to the campaigns of our candidates. Hopefully maybe he'll be able to step in as a treasurer on some of them or something else. He has stated that he has a lot of time that he wants to volunteer to the effort. So that's what I encouraged him to do last we spoke. Is there anything else for campaigns before we move on? Hearing none, we'll move to fundraising. William Johnson Jr.
I've been absent, so I don't have anything to say. I'm sorry, but hopefully we can get on this fundraising. And I don't know where the store is or anything. I've just fallen off a cliff the last couple months. So I apologize.
All right, well, I am going to announce that after the completion of our primary, which is the 7th, well, actually it will technically be whenever ballots are tallied. At that point, any donations raised after that point, I will offer matching funds up to $1,000. And I would make a call for anyone else who is able to help us up that. I call this Operation Pay Kyle Back. If you could, help me get that to like $1,500 or $2,500 or $10,000, that would be great. But the specific reason why I'm going for post the conclusion of our primary is because I expect that we are not going to fully pay Kyle off before then. And so I'm trying to use this as a way to motivate further donations, not merely match the ones that we already expect to be coming in through that time.
Since we're on the topic of fundraising, I just got a message back. Can I ask Kenny another question? Kenny,
Yeah.
are you sure that $1,000 hasn't come in from the Mises Caucus? My contact is saying that it should have been sent a long time ago.
Was it via check?
This is a good question.
If it was via check, it may be hanging out in the mailbox.
Oh, yeah, how long ago is a long time ago? I might be 2 weeks behind in checking the mailbox. I think I'm less, but
Okay. All right. Oh, yeah. Sorry. That's a really
All
good
right, well,
question. I'm asking right now.
Will, feel free to bring that up again if you get another text.
Thank you.
All
Will do.
right. So before we move on, anybody answering my call to bump this up to 1,500 or 2,000 or beyond?
Well, I'll go $100 in it. With you, we'll go 1,100
Great.
total.
We're 11.
I would like to, but don't know how much I can commit at the moment.
Sure. Anyone else?
Yeah, I got 400 on it to make it to 15.
Thank you, Marion.
Yep.
All right. So we're going to have at least 1,500 in matching funds. And because this is going so well, I'm going to, once again, prod anyone else. Make it.
I have already pledged $200 in a video I did months ago, but I'm still waiting for the IRS to give me my freaking money back.
Well, I feel as though that $200 wouldn't count toward the matching in any case, because it was pledged months ago. But
That's
thank
probably
you.
correct.
Thank you for pledging it.
But
I'll donate $100.
Peter, that was 100?
Yeah.
All right, so we're 1,600.
Would this be different from the money we'd be pledging with the ballot, the primary ballot, or is this a different?
Right,
line?
so if I'm specifically excluding contributions, including those that might get sent in with ballots, excluding any contributions that come in before the end of our primary. So before our primary is tallied. And the reason for that is I expect there to still be a shortfall. And so I want this to encourage new donations past what we're already expecting to come in from the primary.
I will pledge $100 for the LPO.
Thank you, Pablo. So we're at 1,700. This has been by far the best fundraising pitch I've ever had.
I bet we can get to 2,000, Mr. Chair.
You're betting we can, or you're
No, I'm betting we can. I've given it up too much. It's like Sir Leon Noble, I already gave already. And I just pledged to give another 100. But there's other people in this room. Come on, guys.
All right.
I'll add to my original pledge and find $100.
okay. We're at 1,800. We're so close, guys.
I can do 2. I can push it.
All right. All right. We're
Does
at
that fact? Did you hear
$2,000.
me, Timothy? I going from 1 to 2.
Oh, I didn't hear that. Well,
Yeah.
oops, we're at $2,100 and now it's not even. And so I really feel like we need someone to make it at least 2,500.
Our matching donations can legally drink.
There you go.
All right. Well, I gotta say, I'm very happy to have my initial 1,000 more than doubled. So we have at least 2,100 in matching funds pledged. Thank you all so much. And I think that's it for fundraising, unless anyone has something. All right. Thank you, everyone. We'll move along then to the Public Relations Committee. Will.
Yeah, so haven't really posted much. Once we have some dates for some events set up, I'd love to start posting those. Yeah, I probably could have posted a little bit of some updates about the convention, and now that I'm feeling well again and have the presence of mind to do so, I can post some pictures on our social media. I also regained access to Facebook. I'm sure you're all happy to hear that. Was kind of enjoying not being on Facebook, honestly, but as I am on the Public Relations Committee, I will begin to use it again. But yeah, I will try to make some posts about Reno, and then I will post some events if we have them.
All right. Any questions for Public Relations?
Not a question, but just a reminder, please also use the meetup for events.
So yeah, just really quickly, is the meetup is primarily being used for Multnomah County. The other day somebody logged into that. Did that all get squared away? The person, I can't remember.
So we just found out about it at our last Multnomah County meeting. We didn't know it existed. And so I think Pablo might have gotten in touch with Katie about that.
And I'm sorry, this sounds like a circular conversation, but I believe Will and Peter Vandenberg have access to that meetup, unless there's another meetup that was set up.
I think that there is. I think that's what we figured out, right? There has to be, because somebody was getting reoccurring notifications, and I checked the account I have for the LPO, and we're not on there. So it makes me think Katie might have another account.
Yeah, for the wrong place too.
Interesting. So
that is interesting.
On Meetup, we have the regular. The Multnomah County group is meeting regularly, correct, at Primal Burger, or is this
not on the Meetup? Not on the meetup that we're all talking about anyway.
No, but in real life we are meeting regularly at Primal.
Yeah.
Okay, so that should be on the meetup.
It would be great for it to be on the meetup. Absolutely.
Okay. Can somebody who is in charge of or in the loop for the Multnomah meetup contact me, and I will try to put that on the meetup page and use that. I feel like meetup will primarily be important for the Multnomah group and less so for other groups, because it's more of I feel like it's more of an urban area. People tend to use it more often.
I mean, we have over 700 people in there from all over Oregon. So yeah.
Okay.
Also, I can put the Primal Burger event on Meetup. Well, you don't have to do it.
Okay.
Yeah. Peter, I'm sure that you're aware, but Pablo already figured out all the dates moving forward for, I want to say, the rest of the year or the next 6 months or something. So he can readily supply you with those, or maybe you already know where to find them. And on the meetup, we have myself. And by the way, the meetup is not officially a party asset. It is, I believe, under Kyle's personal.
Yes,
control.
I've been paying for it, but I'm not active on it at all.
Yes.
Several people have administrator access there, and they're doing everything.
Right. So people with organization permissions are myself, Peter, Katie, Will, and Kyle, as well as a couple party members who are not currently active at the state level, Bruce Knight and Jeff Weston. But as to whether or not they stay on, that is entirely in Kyle's discretion. So, all right. Does that answer everybody's questions under that item? That's the wrong tab. There we go. Okay. Regular, under the public relations, I have a idea, kind of, under regular meeting publicity, referring to regular meetings, not referring to, anyway. We could probably have more observers at these meetings and more engagement. And if I call for matching funds, more people to call for matching funds. If we do a better job of publicizing this. So what I would like to do is plan on having that be part of a monthly newsletter, even if that's the only thing that goes out in the newsletter. I'd love for more things to go out in the newsletter, but announcing the newsletter, say a week ahead of time. Hey, this is happening. If you want to be in, click here. I think I might set up a different system rather than having everybody email chair@lporegon.org for the link. Maybe they're going through a somewhat more automated process. And then also, it has been requested by a couple of people to have our regular meeting recordings publicly visible on YouTube. And that is something I feel like the board probably needs to approve. So I'm putting that question out there. Do these things sound good? We don't really need to have a vote on it per se. The Public Relations Committee can just do all this stuff. But there would be a vote, actually. Part of the reason why this is kind of viable right now is because Mary Collins has offered to volunteer and take part of the work of doing this stuff off my plate, especially the uploading to YouTube bit. Does that sound, are there any objections, any comments? But Mary, sorry, I keep interrupting myself because a little bit of ADD. Mary would need to be added to the Public Relations Committee so that she can be authorized to have access to some of our assets, like the YouTube channel. But
I assumed we were already putting stuff public. I mean,
thus far, I've been uploading them to YouTube as a convenient way for Taylor to gain access, but they have been unlisted or private.
would you go back retroactively and add those publicly, or just
Up to the board, like, sure, I'll say yes, unless somebody doesn't want me to for some reason. I will say that we don't have any recordings of executive session. Don't think we've had any executive session this term, but we did the term before.
I think going forward, it's fine. I don't think going backward, it makes much sense. I don't feel like we discussed anything that's like super pertinent to like the party in the past, but I don't know how everyone else feels, but going forward, I feel like knowing that these would be public, it's fine now. I don't know. I feel like now that we have a lot more energy, we have a lot more volunteer involvement, and we're discussing a lot more things now. For this meeting on, it would be good to have these publicly available.
I agree with you.
I would actually like to get some history in there too. I mean, whatever we do have recorded, I think we may as well put up. It's always a problem for organizations that they tend to lose track of their history over time. And I know the LPO certainly has. So whatever history we can keep, I think we should.
To be clear, they are already uploaded to YouTube. It's just a matter of making them public. I'm going right now to check for everybody's information. I think it only probably goes back to around the beginning of the term. August, September, I think we skipped October, then we have November, February, March special, April, May. I don't see a January. I forgot to record, I believe, and then I think we skipped the October meeting. I could be wrong, but that's my recollection. Anyway, so we have all of them already in YouTube, except for January and October, which I think one of them doesn't exist and the other one we skipped, and so it doesn't exist.
Marion does bring up a point in the chat.
I should probably check the chat. That is a good point, Marion. So Marion's concern was that some people might have had their kids on camera or other things and weren't expecting such things to be public. So that is a reasonable concern that we should be careful.
My only comment is if we're going to make them publicly moving forward for publicity, we probably want to spice them up a little bit because they can be a little dry. not to say that we don't, I don't enjoy talking with everybody, but I think outsiders looking in, it'd be kind of difficult to follow along or get very invigorated by watching some of our meetings.
I gotta say, it would mostly be for a few nerds, and I say that in the most loving way.
Fellow
I'm
nerds.
I'm a nerd.
Yeah.
Relatively few views would probably ever happen.
It's like reading the begats in the Bible. It just goes on and on.
Rachel, we could start duking it out if you want. We can have debates, you and I,
Oh yeah.
or whatever you want.
Wednesday,
No?
Wednesday,
I'd be down
Wednesday.
with that.
I see it up.
Well, this meeting would presumably be the first one going up, and hey, we just got $2,100 in matching funds. That's interesting. But yes, and any ideas that we have for spicing it up, I'm open to. This is a business meeting, so it can only go so far. But
We could read Facebook comments.
oh man, ooh.
Yeah, let's
That
not
would
do
make
it.
interesting
right, so-
conversation.
What I'm hearing, and therefore what I would advise the Public Relations Committee on, unless somebody wants to make a motion otherwise, what I'm hearing is that we'll just do it from this meeting forward.
My
That's fine.
preference is to put all of everything up that we have.
Okay. Do you want to make a motion?
So moved.
All right. So Kyle moves to make public all recordings of LPO board meetings that we have available. Is there a second?
A second.
Tim Sipple seconds. Yeah, I don't have a secretary, so bear with me for a moment. I need to pull up a note. All right, I'm just gonna go in the order that I find you in the participants list. So, Kenny? I'm sorry, I'm going to restate the question before we proceed. The motion from Kyle, seconded by Tim Sipple, is to make publicly available on our YouTube channel all recordings of past and current and future LPO board meetings. Actually, I believe it's only past, was technically what Kyle's motion is.
Right, yeah. We were all agreed to do this in future, but the issue is
Right.
overpassed.
Yep. Okay. So the first on my list is Kenny.
Please,
Hey,
thank you.
If you want me to come back to you, I will.
Please.
All right. Will.
I'll vote no.
All right. Kyle.
Yes.
Peter.
Abstain.
Rachel.
No.
Tim.
Yes.
Coming back to Kenny. I believe it is currently tied.
You're at 2-2
2-2.
with an abstention.
2-2 with an abstention, which I'm sorry, that would actually mean that it's currently failing.
We need. Reluctant, yes.
All right. I'm going to vote no, and therefore the motion fails. And I'll just
I didn't
explain
vote.
real quick. I'm sorry, Willie. I gotta admit, you should have come right after Kenny. And yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's fine. It failed and I said no anyway.
Ah,
Just for the record.
I appreciate that. I'm sorry I missed you.
It's fine.
I'm
I've been
not quite sure how it happened.
missing. And I apologize for that. That's more important. than
I
one
will
little
say
vote.
that the participants list changes, and I think it's based on who is muted and unmuted, like people change in order. Maybe that's why I missed you, but I'm also willing to just own up to making an error. So
I did unmute myself halfway through voting because I figured I would have to vote. So I did unmute.
there we go. All right. And now you're at the bottom now that you muted. So maybe that does explain it. The reason for my no vote is that there was a concern raised about children. And then also Rachel, I believe, has potentially had children on the screen at times, and she voted no. So I really want to respect that if we can. Thank you.
And Ted's kids have been on and my kids have been on.
My kids have screamed and yelled too.
All right. So that was a motion related, so we will not do past, we will do it moving forward. And I would say this could potentially be revisited on a case-by-case basis for the past ones. If there's a particular meeting that we're sure doesn't have anything problematic, then anyway. So moving forward, everyone should be aware that the meetings will be publicly posted, and I'll try to make sure that there is notice of that included in the notice about the meeting. Is there anything more that I'm not thinking of on this item? All right. One last clarification. We do still have those recordings. So if they do need to be referenced for some reason or another, we can go back and find them. It's just that they won't be public.
Mr.
Right.
Chair, are you moving on from the public relations bullet or just that specific item?
I had already called. I had already called for any of the directors to bring up anything related to public relations before we moved on to the sub bullet. Without objection, I'd like to hear from the observer if there's something Pablo would like to bring up.
Yes, I realized in hearing you talk that we have a mail list and we need content for that mail list. Because we are Libertarians and we just attended the LP National where there was some changes to the platform. I would like us to share perhaps a link to the LP Iowa blog post that explains some of those platform changes, I think in a very clear and persuasive manner, as the platform changes being positive and how it sort of makes our party stronger.
Okay, I will caution that we are not allowed to take stances on public policy. And so if we are promoting an article that is specifically pro changes that were potentially made to the platform or whatever, then that potentially falls afoul. So if there was like a more neutral, like this happened type of article, that would probably be better. Or if somebody wanted to write up a more neutral, this is what happened type of article, that would be appropriate. But if you would send me that article, I'll read through it. And if I don't think that it causes any problem, then I'd be happy to send it out.
Will do.
Thank you. But yes, I'd love to have a newsletter go out about our recent convention. Anything else for public relations? Since apparently I was moving too fast.
Yes, Marion, that would.
I don't have the chat pulled up. I'm sorry. Correct, Marion. The Libertarian Party of Oregon cannot support the official LP platform, except that we do affirm the statement of principles. And that is actually a requirement of all of the affiliates.
Brilliant. Thank you.
All right. I see some chatter in the chat about putting things on Odyssey. I have no objection to doing that moving forward, and I think the public relations committee can handle creating that account and getting our things uploaded there as well.
To be clear, this
All
would
the
be
places.
for both platforms, right? Not
yes,
right.
not to exclude YouTube.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's the one where more people will find it.
Well, and where
At this
it,
point.
I think to my concerns, where it's more likely to have longevity.
Oh, okay.
Other websites are, possibly fly by night. They might disappear. I don't think YouTube is going anywhere.
Fortunately or unfortunately, that is likely true. Thank you, Kyle.
Well, to be honest, nothing on Odyssey can be deleted because it runs on a blockchain called Library. So that's why they built it that way. So
That's also good to know. However, please, there doesn't need to be any concern or bickering over this. We'll just put in both places. Good, happy, we'll move along. All right, data director, Kyle.
I think I have very little to report about data. I was entirely consumed by getting the ballot mailing ready and out. And
That involved a lot of data.
Well, yes, but no update on CRM, I suppose I should say. So I was consumed with getting that out, and the mail house certainly had some problems with it this time around. So nothing has happened on CRM. I haven't even checked to see whether National has yet loaded the original new data from early April. And I have not provided them the updated data from late April.
The CRM does have well over 20,000 entries. So I believe that they did get the old list, but that doesn't, as we noted before, it doesn't have the redistricting information.
Right. CRM had the old data from 2020. Okay. But I think, I don't know whether they had loaded anything from 2022.
Yeah.
They probably have not, because there doesn't seem to be a good system for tracking pending work. And I will have to follow up about that and bug people about that, because we shouldn't have to just email and hope that some data gets loaded. That's not a good way to go.
I completely agree.
I have some not very substantial information about the CRM, but just so you know that the new LNC is taking a look at the excessively long wait list right now, which is over 2 years to get states entered into the CRM, even though they have a full-time paid staffer working on it. we are apparently, as a national party, reassessing the system and seeing what works. There may be an alternative offered in the future, but they are right now looking at it because right now it's an unacceptably long wait list for states to get onto the CRM, and we just can't wait multiple years to get everyone loaded up. So just wanted to let you guys know that from my understanding, that the LNC current board is assessing our options right now, and we should have some information within the month about what alternatives will be available. So,
and for anyone who wants to follow the LNC email business list, there's definitely some chat, and some people are, almost anti the CRM, and then some people are like, well, let's actually put the full force of funding behind it. And anyway, there is all sorts of discussion. Do not yet know what will happen, but it will either get better or change in some way.
yeah, I believe it is not going to go away completely. Some states are at this point so invested in it that it would be catastrophic to just remove it as an option. So for those states, I think it's going to stick around, but for states maybe like us that have not even really begun to use it, I believe an alternative is being thought up. So,
and Pablo just put the LNC business list in the chat for anyone who wants to follow that. All right, that was data. One last call for questions for Kyle about that. I will say that Kyle helped me to get some voter information. Thank you, Kyle. Anyone else? All right, we'll move to bylaws. Bylaws Committee Chair Kyle.
There is nothing currently to report because the election isn't over.
But we're these close.
We're super close.
Any questions for bylaws? Here
I have one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Without objection, we'll hear from a question from an observer. Go ahead, Leon.
We're doing simple majority for passing bylaws, correct?
It's 2/3.
Oh, 2/3 majority. Okay, that's why I don't know why I didn't remember that.
All right. Website committee, that's me. I am thrilled to announce that we have added multiple members to this committee who have experience in working on websites, unlike the current head of the committee, who has worked on one website, our website. So we've added Pablo Serrato and Eric Bork. Eric, in particular, does this at least somewhat professionally. And I haven't seen a lot of his work, but I'm really excited to see what he's gonna put out there. And I'm expecting us to have a fresh face to show the public in not very long, hopefully later this summer. And certainly before the November election. Yeah, very exciting stuff. As far as changes to the website, we haven't had much in the way of that over the last month, except for just making sure that the candidates that are listed for our primary are accurate, updating the banner on the front page, letting people know about this meeting, regular maintenance. Any questions for website before we move along? All right. We are now at the affiliate director. Katie, I'm going to double check the participants list, but I don't believe. Yes, Katie is not in the meeting, but without objection, we'll hear from some observers who have questions and information about the Multnomah County affiliate that really, really wants to form. So Pablo, Marion, whichever one of you wants to go.
Hi, thank you. Yeah, we've been, we did miss one meeting in preparation for the national convention, but we've been rocking and rolling at Primal Burger, which has been going really well. We've had anywhere from like 6 to 13 or 14 people, and we need 16 or 17 to make an affiliate. So, and now that we know that the meetup has been directing people to the wrong place, and we're starting, you know, Will's going to be able to log in to Facebook, so that I'm sure I'll be able to enlist his help. But yeah, it looks like we're getting close, as long as we can, Pablo and I can get, and Peter can get together and make sure that all of the communications are happening. I think we're close to having the people. We do have a few questions. We want to put out a little bit of a mailer. We're discussing putting out just like a postcard mailer that maybe has the Primal Burger logo on it. Really just something that will go out to people that they can put on their fridge, remind themselves of the meetup that's happening. And we wanted to ask, this is probably a question for Kyle, is what are the costs for just a single postcard mailer for not that many? Like, we're thinking, Pablo ran some data, which was awesome. He aggregated it so that we've got like about 90 high quality people to mail to.
For something of that size, I wouldn't be looking at a big mail house because they have high startup costs for
Okay.
processing and so forth. If you could design it yourself and maybe print them off at something like a FedEx office,
Yeah,
that could do the job pretty well.
got it.
For a postcard kind of thing, for about 100, you're likely looking at something like 30 or 40 cents for the postcard plus your postage, whatever your postage is going to be.
Okay.
And the special postage rate that the political party gets, I would have to go find that regulation again. It might
Okay.
only be offered to state level and national level political parties and not to other groups. So you might have to send them with standard postage instead.
Okay.
So that's unknown for now.
Okay.
While we're talking about money, you'll want to keep this you'll have to be careful about crossing the line of making it political, because once multiple people go in on a political expenditure, you need to have a political action committee. So
Got it.
I would, you can say you're libertarians, you can say that you're having a meetup. I feel like you should even be able to say that you want to start a county party, but like advocating any particular policy position or candidate or anything like that would be like way outside the realm of good ideas. Well, I mean, assuming you don't want to get fined and stuff.
Or we could get around that by forming the pack first.
Or you could do that.
Okay, got it.
Definitely.
Cool. Thank you for that. And then the 17 founders of the affiliate initially, they must be registered libertarians and
Yes.
must be living in Multnomah County. Is that correct?
According to our policy. Yep.
Okay. And then what was my last? Oh, I think that was pretty much everything that I wanted to ask. I know that the meetup was already covered. That was also one of the questions. I just thought it was kind of neat, the thing that Pablo did to put together the data. and he DM'd it to me in the chat. So I'm scrolling down right now to
Yeah,
find it.
I could
but-
talk us through that, Marion. It was just really quickly.
Yeah.
We got data from, I think, the combination of Kyle and the chair, and we're looking at this and just want to read out some of the things that we saw there. For the people who opt in to be contacted, who live in Multnomah County through MailChimp, there's 20 people. I think those people can be called highly engaged, and that we really want to mail them and let them know that we're meeting up. Then using the April 2022 voter file, looking back at participation, voting Libertarian in the 2020 election and 2018 election, we found that of the voters in 2020, 43 of them were on that April 2022 list. 19 people from the 2018 election cycle voted and are still on that April 2022 list. And then 9 individuals are stalwarts who lived in Multnomah County who voted in both 2020 and 2018 elections and are still active on the party. I just think that's interesting. Together, it's about 90 people that we're going to email that we think that would be good candidates to show up to one of our future 2022 meetups. Do these numbers feel right to folks who are more familiar with the voter file?
That sounds quite reasonable. Our primaries don't get a very high participation rate. So, we have 20,000-ish members, and I don't think we've received more than 1,000 ballots back from our primary mailing.
Thanks.
Cool. Well, I think that's,
sorry, go ahead.
sorry
Mary.
about that. That was
Go ahead.
everything that I had. And I thank you guys a lot for all the answers. We're pretty excited to get this moving.
I was just going to add that we're also going to send out a mass text to those 90 people as well. So I just got to talk to Will about the website he uses. So, Will, could you send me a link to that? I know you've sent it to me probably once before. But...
You want a link to the mass text?
Yeah, whatever you using for the Mises Caucus.
Yeah, it's callhub.io.
All right, thanks.
All right. I just have one question, actually turning around a question for you guys. Pablo, would you be willing to duplicate that data crunch for other counties? Not all the other counties right now, just as people are like, okay, yeah, let's do this. Could I call on you to do a similar data crunch? Because I don't have the skill set.
Absolutely. I'm perfectly happy to do what I can to support the party.
Thank you. All right. Thank you. Very exciting to have Multnomah moving. All right. Moving along, we have member development. Peter.
Yeah, so I was also planning on being in at the convention in Reno. Unfortunately, I had a close death in my family, so I was not able to make it. We went back to Michigan to grieve, and it's a pretty trying time, but glad to be back here in Oregon and excited for everything going on in the future of the party. And I do already have a book signed by Ron Paul on my shelf over here. It's Mises. It's Socialism, Sociological and Economical Analysis. I got it when I was in high school, actually. A government teacher gave it to me, so not kind of weird. But anyways, other things going on in my life as far as the party goes. We're planning on holding an event the last Saturday in August, which I think I sent an email to the board. And yeah, because Timothy responded and said, think about parking. Not trying to make it a huge event, but figure it's been a long time since we've all gotten together. So at the very least, I hope to see most of the people in this meeting and kind of more word of mouth. I'm not trying to post it on social media because I don't want Antifa coming to my house. But just if you know someone that's a libertarian, invite them, and I'll give you my address. So, all right. Yeah, so like I said, I've been gone for 2 weeks out of this month. Can't say I've got too much more done than that, but I know Katie and I need to brainstorm on some other ideas. We had some ideas for a while about trying to have an event at a gun range, and then we never picked one. I'm glad we're doing regular meetups again, so happy to see more of that, and very excited to hopefully see the passage of the Public Policy Board, and tremendously excited. I think that would be a huge shift in our party and our ability to actually connect to members instead of staying silent on everything that's happening around us while the world is burning. So I think that's it. I am open to any questions.
Peter, will the party also be a fundraiser? Would it be ticketed so we can raise some money for the party?
Yeah, I guess I should have said, I don't really organize things like this for much. So any ideas that anyone has, like that one, Pablo, it's great. Yeah, we could sell tickets to it. I'm planning on having a barbecue, probably going to cater some food, probably going to grill some stuff, and try to convince Brad to come out and do some comedy. Maybe if anybody else wants to do any stand-up comedy, have kind of an open mic type thing. So figure something out. I got a pretty big backyard here. It's not crazy big, but easily can seat like 30 to 50 people out here comfortably. So. But yeah, if you have ideas, reach out to me directly or at my LPO email.
All right.
Oh, wait, one more thing. Sorry.
Go ahead.
There is, I forgot to mention, there's an event that's happening in Idaho, it's July 2nd. Robbie the Fire Bernstein is going to be, for people that don't know, he is the co-host of Dave Smith's podcast, Part of the Problem. He's going to be doing a show at Nick's house. Y'all remember Nick? He came to a couple of our meetings and we were still doing things in person. He lives up at Sandpoint now. So I'm going, Ryan's going, Marion might be going, I think. And I think she said that. So if anybody else wants to go, we're trying to carpool and maybe look at Airbnb or something. So, all right, I'm done.
I dropped the link for that in the chat.
All right. I think we're finished with member development. All right. Thank you, everyone. There are no special orders, unfinished and new business. The 2022 delegation. I have a report. So here's my report. It's pretty short and sweet. The delegation chair's report for the convention. The delegation members, I gave their status as well as whether or not they were present for the convention. Something to note there is we only had one alternate who was at the convention, and we only had one delegate who wasn't able to make it to the convention. Taylor had a personal emergency on the way to the convention and unfortunately couldn't make it all the way down. And then these persons were approved, but later had to withdraw for various reasons. I appear to have left, so I will have to lightly amend this before it is put into the minutes. But at the request of some of the delegates, a tally sheet was created to record the votes of any member of the delegation that requested it. And those tally sheets are, I have the PDF of those tally sheets already prepared on my computer, but it's not actually a part of this file yet. And so that will go into the minutes for this meeting as an attachment. And then, or as an appendix entry. Despite a contentious convention, there was good cohesion and fellowship among the delegates. There were, Mises and non-Mises members of the delegation. Everybody got along really well. Even among the factionally aligned, there was not a block voting the entire time. Sometimes there was, but there was quite a few times when votes were going in different directions, even among people who were members of the Mises caucus. And it's just good to see libertarians being individuals. And also just between the Mises and non-Mises delegates, there were conversations and discussions and goodwill. So everything went really well in that department. As usual, everything got bogged down with parliamentary maneuvering, much of which was ironically supposed to be saving time, and then very much did not. And then Libertarian Party Mises Caucus endorsed members took every elected position, with the exception of a couple of LNC alternates. The platform had several substantive amendments, and then besides deletion of the abortion plank, which I had already put there, there was language updated to make the section, I apologize, I don't remember the title of the plank, but the section that dealt with basically individual rights and discrimination. It made it about public policy as opposed to a condemnation of particular attitudes and behaviors, which was notably contentious. There was also a amendment that had an actual definition of aggression and property that was adopted, and that was not something that our platform addressed before. So that was interesting. If anyone would like, I can pull up the tally sheets and show you what those look like. But otherwise, it will just be included in the minutes for this meeting. Does anyone want to see those tally sheets?
Not now.
Okay.
Just send them later.
Yep. All right. That is the 2022 delegation report. And after this meeting, this item won't be appearing on the agenda anymore because that's done. Any questions? All right. I suppose one last thing, our seats were, because we had one delegate missing and one alternate present, our seats were full pretty much the entire time. The only time that they weren't were during times where not much was happening. So Oregon was fully represented and everybody got to sit in. Moving along, the 2022 primary election, I am the committee chair. Ballots are out there. I have mine right here. Still need to go out. Really looking forward to this being electronic in the future to save us a lot of money and hopefully increase participation and whatnot. We don't need a motion or anything, but of the people who are on the primary election committee and even those who are not, we need to tally the ballots after they come in. And also we need them to be collected from the post office. Tim Sipple and Katie Brumbelow are able to, but Tim is hoping that someone else can participate in picking those up, coordinating with Katie to visit the post office basically every couple of days during this week to collect those. Tim, do you want to speak more to that at all?
I don't think there's a lot to add. Yeah, so it takes two people to go together. One person will keep the locked box of ballots that we collect, and the other person will have the key to the locked box. And I mean, if a second person doesn't want to volunteer, I will work with Katie, but if someone else does want to, I'd be happy to hand off that.
And this is the downtown Beaverton post office, right?
Yes.
Geography is important here.
Right.
We're volunteers.
Yeah.
That address.
I assume I'm not allowed to help in this, being that I'm actually in this primary.
You cannot help as a teller. You are pretty far away from the post office.
Yeah, I wouldn't want anyone to go that far out of their way just to offload me. I mean, it's only if somebody wants to and it's convenient for them.
Okay.
I suppose it would be better if you just didn't handle the ballots at all. I don't know that that would technically be forbidden for you to meet with another person and pick them up, but it would probably be better to avoid that if we can.
I just wanted to say I would be willing to help if I wasn't already a candidate. So.
Oh,
I'm
I
not.
think that it just stands to reason that you are always considered willing to help, Will, and we appreciate you for that. And I
Thank
would
you.
say the same thing, but I'm way out of the way. Michelle Bird mentioned that she was interested in doing some more stuff, but she does not have a car. So somebody might reach out to her and see if she was available.
Timothy, what are the requirements for the second person? Do they need to be a member, a board member? Anybody?
There's not any particular requirement called out. I would say we want it to be somebody that's known to us, and I feel like that would make Katie feel a lot more comfortable.
Okay, or if Katie finds a neighbor friend, would that work?
I don't know that it wouldn't. Does anyone else have a thought?
I may be able to help. I'm out in West Hillsboro, so downtown Beaverton is not super close for me, but it's not super far either. And for the first time ever, I'm not a candidate, so I can do this.
Ever. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I might be able to, but I'm unsure. So
Okay.
So I think what
Yeah.
we should do is we should set up an email discussion, and then we can work out a schedule there. So
Okay.
between Tim, Katie, me, Kenny, whoever's interested, and figure out times, and then people can look at their actual calendars and say, yes, I can do it then, or I can't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I talked to Katie briefly a day or two ago, and God, I don't have it in front of me now. We're looking at the calendar. When's the last day to pick up? Was it the 17th?
The 17th is when everything is due.
Right.
So
there
we
needs to
should
be pickup on the 17th, the evening of the 17th.
Yes.
So we were thinking something like 4 pickups, maybe like the 10th, 14th, 16th, and 17th. Something along those lines.
I think by the 10th, we would be lucky to have, well, no, if people start getting them on the 6th and they turn them around right away, there could be some, even on the 10th. Yeah, maybe 4 pickups is good.
Oh, so maybe we could push the 10th out to the 11th or
10th,
12th,
11th,
something like
maybe.
that.
Yeah. I'm just thinking realistically, there wouldn't be much back by the 10th. It would take an unusually committed person to vote immediately and put it right in the mail the next day.
Lost me.
All right. So there will be an email conversation between Katie, Kyle, Kenny, and Tim to discuss that. And I'll just put a bug in your ear that one of the key things that needs to be discussed is the keys. Both the keys for the lockbox and the PO box need to get transferred from Tim. I mean, Katie has the lockbox keys right now, but she doesn't have a PO box key. So anyway, thank you, everyone. As far as the tallying, I would like to do that. Our due date is the 17th, which is a Friday. I would like to do it on the weekend, the 18th or the 19th, if people are open to that.
Those are good days for me.
Those are good days for Kyle, and that's important because he's providing at least remote tech support.
The 19th is Father's Day. Just throwing that out there in case that matters.
Right. Yeah, and also I'll be checking, of course, with the entire primary election committee. I'll probably send an email out after this, but making sure that Kyle was available is one of the key things. As far as location, I can offer my house. I am pretty far south for almost everybody. down here in Salem. But I do have space and we can do it here. Or we would need another location if people want to not have to drive that far.
I think we might be available. For teller, what are the requirements for tellers?
We need, all of them need to have laptops and Wi-Fi. That's
And be
pretty
party
much it.
members and not candidates.
Do they have to be party members? I didn't remember that.
Oh, I'd have to look that up. They have to be not candidates.
They cannot be candidates. Yes, that was.
I was just thinking, I don't see anything on our calendar, so we might be able to host.
All right, that would be helpful. You are much closer to where the ballots are and other people are. Okay, so I will confirm with the primary election committee and with Kenny, probably the 18th then. All right.
In past years, by the way, we have not always concluded the tallying on one day. Sometimes additional meetings are needed.
Right. I'm hoping to have enough of a force show up that it's not going to be too much of a concern. But yes, even last time, I think 2020, I think that we had to do more than one. If I recall correctly. All right. Anything else on the 2022 primary election? All right. New business item 2023 LPO Convention Committee. I need to stop sharing for a moment while I find my list of people. Lost it. Okay. I would like to move that we form the 2023 LPO Convention Committee and populate it. And this motion is very much open to friendly amendment for adding more participants. Populate it with Timothy Perkins, Leon Noble, Taylor Rickey, Marion Skinner, and yes, that is who I had. And then I am trailing off to leave room for more people.
I would also like to be on this committee.
Will Hobson.
We had a number of people down in Roseburg and maybe Bend. I can't remember if there were any from Bend speaking up that also wanted to do it. I want to say Charlie and Aiden.
I don't.
I missed which committee this is, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is the 2023 LPO Convention Committee that we are hopefully creating. I'm not seeing that, Leon, but this committee would be able to add members if needed. So we can ask and then add them.
Of
All right.
course.
So that was Timothy, Leon, Taylor, Marion. I'm missing somebody. I have to go back and look at my list. And I closed it. Why did I close it? That was exceptional.
Will.
Will. All right, I think that's everyone. Thank you. I have so moved.
I'll second.
Thank you, Will. All right, is there any objection to forming the committee and populating it with those members? All right. The committee is gonna start looking at venues and stuff, and will select its own chair. It might not be me. When
Timothy, can you send me that list and I'll make a page for it on our committee management document that we were sharing?
Yes.
Thank you.
One moment.
We need to go back on the Facebook page and figure out who all complained about the venue Will found last year and nominate them to be on this committee right now. Begin working right now with this group that's gonna
Yeah.
put in the hard work right now.
Yeah, but he's
Set up
not a
sit on Facebook.
libertarian anymore. He's a Republican now. So we
Oh,
can
It was
skip
not
that.
just one. It was several people that were upset with Will.
Oh,
for
well,
the
they've all
first-
left anyway.
All
Thank
right,
you. Thank you,
Will,
Willie. I appreciate that.
Will, I put them in the chat. So it's Timothy, Taylor, Leon, Marion, and yourself.
All right, I'll just snap a picture of it. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. We are now to open forum. Observers may speak on any item that they wish.
May I start, please?
Go ahead, Leon.
I have only one request. Say I actually came because of this particular committee. I have a request for the base parameters for the venue. What is needed?
Yeah,
I have a meeting that's unrelated tomorrow with the guy I was going to talk to, so I figure I'd bring it up with him.
right. We should have room for up to, I would say, 200 people. It would be really, really impressive if we exceeded that, like mind-blowingly impressive. Wouldn't mind trying, but I do think it is reasonably possible, considering how early we're getting going on this, that we could exceed 100 if we tried. So
Do we have a date parameter?
it has to be in the spring of 2023, and it has to be at such a time as to allow for the results of the director election to be announced.
I do also want to add that this year, I think it would be advantageous of us not to hold it on the same weekend as California does their convention, because it was very difficult to get speakers.
Some speakers, and yes,
because all the speakers get exactly sapped.
also
by
it
Cal.
caused a big headache with not having tech support for Porcupine.
We don't speak of Porcupine anymore, Timothy. I thought we agreed. Porcupine does not exist.
I'm sorry, I don't remember what I said. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
I will posit suggest that we not worry about the speakers, because we should have, at this point, we have quite a number of people who are stepping up and beginning to speak on our behalf at the local level. I think we should focus on our local speakers.
So a lot of this stuff is going to get sorted out in committee. So we'll
yes,
we'll kick it to there. The question about the venue was answered. Generally speaking, we want to have the availability of a hotel, but yeah. Anything else for open forum? I guess I could have the agenda on the screen. Sorry about that. Okay, next board meeting is set by policy for July 13th. Do any of the directors have a conflict with that? All right. That's when we'll meet again. Good meeting, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Oops.